Great to see you, pal. Good, mate. You good? The first time I met the wicked side of you, we did our training, I think we're at Hampden, we're staying at Glen Eagles. And I'm a bag of nerves. My first Scotland squad, I'm there. Dalglish, Souness, Hansen, you name it, they're all there. What you want to drink? Graham, I'll have an espresso. I'm just have a cup of tea, Kenny. And away you go to the bar. Just then the doors open and Big Jock Stein comes in. You come over my shoulder, you put an espresso down in front of Graham. I think you put a cup of tea down in front of Jock. And you put a half pint of lager down in front of me. And Big Jock's looked at me like that.
Yeah, well, they never serve pints.
From one Rangers supporter to another, how did you see the game the other night there?
Is there somebody else in here?
In all seriousness, how did you see it? I'm looking at the game and I thought Liverpool were a different class, you know, they really were. First of all, a change of formation, how did you see Liverpool playing the other night?
Well, it was going to be aggressive for the start. It's 4 forwards on, which was quite pleasant to see. I don't know if it'd be too pleasant for Rangers when they saw the 4 of them turning out, but I think overall they won very, very comfortably. Jurgen, I remember when he was appointed, I said, you better get your seatbelts buckled because this is going to be a roller coaster. He's fantastic.
You want to come closer?
But he's also very humble and appreciative of what every person does at the football club. It's not important what job you're doing, that it's got a great deal of status about it. Everybody that does a job at the football club, he respects and appreciates.
Rangers last year in Europe, I thought some of the performances, Kenny, were fantastic. But do you think at Anfield we saw the difference in the Champions League and the Europa League?
Yeah, definitely. Well, the quality for a start. I mean, OK, you can get and you can win, you can have a great run. And they had a great run last year, right into the final and lost in penalties. You can't get much closer to winning a tournament, can you, if you're in the final and you get beat with penalties? I think it's a sign of progress, but I think, obviously, when you look at the game, you analyse it, they've got a lot to go to reach that level. And you're talking about a team that very close to winning 4 tournaments last year.
I took a step back right after the game and I'm thinking to myself, you know, it's only 10 years ago I was on that team bus and we're going to Elgin, we're going to Peterhead, we're playing Annan. And I'm thinking to myself, what a journey that has been. And it was a kind of realisation and a thunderbolt, if you like, and it made me proud again. As disappointed as I was, obviously, nobody likes getting beat, but I thought to myself, what a journey this has been. And we're now at the home of one of the world's top clubs playing in the best tournament in the world. I want to touch on the clashes between Scottish teams and English teams. The first one I can remember was Celtic Leeds United.
2-1 Celtic.
Was it 2-1 Celtic? And was about 130-odd thousand that game?
Well, they couldn't have it at Celtic Park because there was renovation work going on. So they had it at Hampden. They were 1-0 down for the first leg and Celtic ran out 2-1 winners. John Hughes scored, I think Bobby Murdoch scored. It was unbelievable. The game was unbelievable.
Absolutely. Well, talking about back in the day, I actually went to Liverpool Aberdeen as a fan, but can you remember?
Fan of who?
A fan of football.
Is it a fence? Is that a fence you're sitting on there?
I know what it was like as a Scotsman playing for a Scottish team against the English champions. What was it like as a Scotsman playing for the English team against Scottish champions?
I mean, I'm not being disrespectful, but you just hope the English boys took it seriously. Because when it was Scotland-England, there was a few times they were playing each other and we were fortunately in the European Cup final, so we weren't included in the squads. Yeah. And we used to go to, well, be appropriate, Sammy Lee's wine bar and watch a match. And Scotland won a couple of times. The English boys didn't take it too good. so just hope that they carried on the same enthusiasm to beat the Scots as what it was when we played them in any of the European Cup games. And they were up for it as much as us.
What do you think it is, Kenny, about these Scotland-England club sides? Do you think it's very much like they're just typical rivalry between the two nations, and it grabs the imagination of the fans, yeah.
Rangers and Celtic always have a fantastic travelling support. Always. It wouldn't matter which team they were playing and what competition, as long as it was in a friendly. They would travel from Scotland down the road to go to wherever in England to watch them play. And it is the Scottish versus English.
I remember one of the games at Ibrox, Kenny. We played Leeds, they were champions. I mean, they had a proper team, to be fair to them. Cantona, wee Gordon Strachan, Gary McAllister. And I remember looking across and we were just shaking our head. The noise coming up the tunnel. I think it's still probably the loudest I've heard any stadium anywhere, the noise. And that just typified the passion, particularly from the support in Glasgow, man. Some brilliant memories. The flip side of the coin was Gary McAllister stuck one in our top corner after 50 seconds, and it went from there to there. We speak about the great atmospheres up in Glasgow for European nights, Kenny. And I think the return fixture at Ibrox against Liverpool, the fans will be ready to go. There's no doubt about it. But you know better than anybody, the players have got to give those fans something to get going. But I still think you've got to get a point. It's how do you get that point?
As long as you lock the back door, you can still get a point, can't you? I mean, you've got a better chance of getting a point if you lock the back door. But you're going to need another performance for Alan McGregor like he put in the first game. So,
amazing, eh?
He's unbelievable, 40 years of age. That's not just a one-off game there for McGregor. That's all last year as well in the European competition.
How will we recognise you at Ibrox for the return game? Will you have a red scarf on, blue scarf on, green scarf on? What will you be wearing?
Well, it would be red or green, right? But I'll also have a sombrero on because I'm going to Spain tomorrow.